2 days ago, we talked about how to have conversations that would minimize conflict, especially if you are in a situation where there's already conflict. Sentences you should use, kind of communication you should use when you are in a conflict situation. Stay in that situation, stay present, is what I told people. Because if you're present and you don't bring in the past, like you don't say things like, you're always like this. Last time, 2 years ago, you created this. Remember this? And you have a track record. Now, when you do the things like this, people will start to get very upset and angry. This means that you are now identified with that behavior. What you want to do is separate the person from the behavior. Now, what I didn't cover with you guys, because I really sometimes go off on a tangent and I don't talk and I need to talk and so on and so forth, is the way in which to help your employee improve is to never ever identify them with the behavior. Always separate it. It works for children as well. In other words, I'll give you an example. If a child steals, we don't call the child a thief. You know, you're a thief. You know, you stole from me, da da da. Instead, we say to a child, why is a good child like you stealing? So you see, the behavior is not the person. But when you separate the behavior from the person, then your ability to create wonderful communication, which is not conflict directed, would be to tell the person simply, you know, you are a very, very calm person. You're usually a person that is wise and you give people such good advice. Why is a person like you, wise and everything, saying things like this? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing the da behavior? Now straight away they separate themselves from the behavior, shouting, screaming, calling obscenities, whatever it might be, and suddenly realize, well, yeah, I'm a nice person, I shouldn't be doing this. You see? So you
Are you looking for the explanation, or are you looking deep for the reason?
No, you're not looking for anything. You, first of all, to be able to change a person, you need to separate the behavior from the person. So a person who shouts obscenities is not a obscene person. It's not a heckler. When you start labeling people, you don't allow them to get out of those labels. You want change to happen. That's why you're always. That's why I went through those conflict communication strategies with you guys. So you take it out of the present moment. Okay, I mean, you don't go back into the present moment, into the past. You go and stay with the present moment. Then you have to use messages that are I related. You always, you da da da. You said this and therefore you da 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 da. It makes a person feel as if they're being accused. So instead, you can say something like, whenever you say da da da, I feel very, very bad. I would like to see things work differently, and maybe together we can da 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 da. I feel that you can da 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 da, so on and so forth. So I messages all the time. That's one of the ways we can do it. Another way that we can also avoid conflict, or if we're already in conflict, to be able to make a person feel less conflicted in that conversation, is to don't isolate them. Don't make them feel as if, you know, that's what, you know, WTF situations, you know, where people have that feeling and so on and so forth. And then people feel minimized, small, and so on and so forth. Make them feel like they're not alone. Most people that do da 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 da, that did da da da, that were late for work, for instance, punctuality. Let's say it's a problem with some employees who are never on time, always come late. The problem with most people when they are not punctual for work is that usually they take the route that, you know, in Sofia there's a ring road, and if you take the ring road at a certain time, you're stuck. It literally becomes a parking lot with cars moving an inch every hour, you know, that kind of thing. If you take that route, that's usually what will happen to you. You get stuck. Instead, maybe we should find a different route. So straight away, they don't feel like they're isolated and alone. Instead of telling somebody and isolating them, saying, look, you're always late, look at everybody else. Why can't you be more like us? And that's something I never even discussed in those 13 strategies with all of you guys. Then at the same time, if you are talking to someone about opening themselves up because you don't know what is the real reason for them creating the conflict, I noticed that you were screaming obscenities at your colleague along the way, calling them all kinds of names. Is there something happening at home that you'd like to tell me about? Now, I told you guys to give them an ability to withhold information if they need to. If you cannot tell me because it's too personal, it's okay, I understand. Now, when you say that, then it's okay for them to hold information back, so you don't have to talk. They don't have to talk. But if you tell them to tell me the reason why, and then wait, and no answer comes forward, now they feel as if they are creating this whole conflict situation, and that you're making it even worse by asking this question. Then if you start talking to this person and they are not sharing anything, well, you begin with strategic openness by asking, like offering some advice. The last time I screamed obscenities, I hurt my foot on this nail on the floor, and at the same time my car was being towed, so I lost control and I started to scream obscenities like that, and I said these words, and the words were bleep 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 bleep, all those bad words I did say, so those are bleeped out. And then they go, yeah, well, okay, let me tell you why I did this. And then you're being strategically open, and so they become open as well. Oh yes, let me tell you, I'm having a difficulty at home with my wife, and she's this, that, or my husband, and he's being a da 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 da, and so on and so forth. That sort of thing. Is that useful? You want more?
No, it's okay.
I could.
I know. I wanted to ask you about the technologies and how they're transforming us. And you say that 95% of our communication is non-verbal. It's a body language and a voice. How about that when we are communicating online, which is the trend now mainly? Mm-hmm. And tell me, is that actually helpful or worse? Is it destructive to people communication and relationships? And what's your opinion about that?
A lot of people are building personas. They got personas on Facebook. They got personas on MySpace. They got personas everywhere.
Yeah.
And they are this person they want to be seen as. They want to be seen as, some people, motivators. Some of these people want to be seen as kind or giving, or one of these Mother Teresa types, and so on and so forth. Other people want to be seen as radical. Other people want to be seen as James Dean type people. I want to make my statement, hell with the statement. I want to be a radical. I want to say anti-government, anti-political, anti-religion, anti-da-da-da-da. And some people are pro this and pro that. So all social media seems to be a platform for people to really bring that part of their personality forward that they couldn't do before. I mean, nobody gives a crap. Let's assume that there's no social media. Let's say there's only us holding placards and protesting and all of this kind of stuff. Most people are too lazy to do that. Choose Pizza Hut, or let's go protest this thing about what the Wall Street and all these other people are doing, and da 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 da. Some people don't even bother doing this. But here we have social media where you can sit in your underwear in front of the computer and protest what's happening halfway around the world instead of being involved with that activity. So that's what people are like. So your question then becomes more, is all this helping us in relationships or hurting us in relationships? Well, when you bring it back to the personal, I can express to you by email and by social media and by sending you little PMs and what have you, or parts of me that I can censor and I can edit. As I say something, no, that doesn't sound right. I want to say this instead. So you're editing as you go. Where's the editing in real life? You know, when you start to talk and say, you know, I think that you are being a real bullshit. Da, 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 and if I say some bullshit, da, da, oh, by the way, am I allowed to use that word?
Yeah. You can.
Right? and if they say something like bullshit,
Our readers are 18
and so on and so forth.
plus.
Yeah, thank you so much.
It's okay.
And if they say this word in front of the person they're trying to impress or take on a date or get married to and all that, I say go, oh, there's nothing you can do to pull the words back. And so those relationships in real life do not sound like the relationship they had when they were on Facebook or an email or something like this, where you can edit everything you say and everything you do. So it becomes a little bit different. The old way of hit and miss now becomes a little bit better. The problem is it realistic? Is it the real human being? I mean,
that was actually the question. How do you think?
It's not. And most of these social relationships don't work out after a period of time. The reality sets in. So these relationships on the internet come together on the internet. A lot of people come together and have marriages on the internet. But do they last? That's a question. Maybe the old way is the best way. Being with somebody for a long time, knowing them.
Writing love letters.
Write love letters in real life, you know, with all of the X signs out and da-da-da, all the mistakes and everything else. Or getting somebody to write them for you. I'm just kidding.
Tell me about the successful people. Which people do you think they are successful? What is actually a person who is successful for you? And how is the success achievable actually? I know it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
And it's nothing that could be written or explained in a sentence. But
yeah, you want to ask me.
Yeah.
Knowing all these things, they cannot be written.
Maybe
you so much.
I want that you explain that to the rest of the people.
You are so kind. I really appreciate this. Success, if I want to give you a broad, general meaning.
Definition, anyway.
Yeah, definition, meaning. Let's give that meaning, that word meaning, some hold here. Success would be doing what you want to do as often as you want to do it, wherever you want to do it,
in the way you want to do it,
with as many people as you want to do it, in the way that you want to do it, and that would be success. And let's pretend like we're shaking hands. I'm already so comfortable here, so I won't move. And she's got this thing happening, so her armpits are going to be in big trouble if she just starts to move. Hi, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
My name's Mel.
Oh, my name's Navy. Who are you?
I just told you. Are you deaf too? No? Okay. No, I'm sorry. I introduce myself. I realize that I don't tell people who I am, really. I just simply walk up to them and talk to them. That's how I don't want to be anybody's guru. Because you know what you need to do. I'm just a teacher. If anything, I'm a teacher. And my job is to teach you how to get to where you need to go. My job is to give you and equip you with the skills you need to be able to get to where you need to go. To make you emotionally equipped, mentally equipped, and if I can, physically equipped to get to where you need to go. Or to achieve the targets you need to achieve.
And that's what...
Being a guru is a very silly thing. The people who follow gurus, well, God bless you, you know. Because what happens when the guru dies? Then what, you know? What happens if he's suddenly found playing with little boys and little girls in the closet and all that? And what happens to your religion? Follow your own voice.